Chumripsur, Namaste, hello. It was here at Phnom Kulen in Cambodia that the mighty Khmer Empire was born when Jayavarman II anointed himself king, breaking away from the Hindu Java Empire. In this series, we will see how the Indic influence was absorbed and adopted into the local culture and is still a pivot point around which the Cambodian culture and life revolve.
Hello and welcome again to Forgotten Temples with myself, Mr. B. And this time you find me again at the ancient city that was named Lingapura, the city of the Shiva Lingas, so named by Jayavarman IV, that mighty king that went on an incredible building spree. Now, getting here is always a long journey, and it is sometimes a dangerous one. What you don't see on the camera is those dangers. There are certain roads which are rather difficult to navigate, but the biggest threat is landmines. Often they appear in the press, and even now in this area they are digging up huge amounts of ordnance. I've positioned the camera as best as I can because there's a tree here and a tree there and it's hemming the shot in. But it's important that I try and get this as good as I possibly can for you. Now you see, I remember the first time I encountered this site. I came in through the jungle from the back of that temple there, and I saw the backs of these two strong like bodyguards, and I was absolutely amazed at their size. I mean, this is why I do what I do. I travel literally tens of thousands of miles for encounters exactly like this, because it brings it all into a very stark reality, one that you can even reach out and touch. I mean, just think for a moment. You can now see the size of me, my proportions. I'm about 6 foot when I'm wearing this tremendous hat. Now cast your eyes upwards and ask yourself the question, how big were the statues that resided here? Now let's take a quick walk, you and I, to really soak this site in. And by the way, if you hear any tinkling sounds, those are cowbells in the distance. They still graze their cattle here. This place gets almost no visitors at all. I'm the only person in this entire city, and that's just incredible. It's well worth the journey and it's well worth the dangers. Now, as we know, this place did have earlier temples here, so it was one of the first sites in this fantastic city. But it was only whilst Jayavarman IV actually reigned, because when he vacated this city, so did the majority of the people. They all went off to Angkor Wat. And one of the reasons for the exodus, they believe, is because of the land itself. You see, it's not that fertile. It's not the best for growing your crops. And that, of course, is hardly beneficial when you're trying to raise a family. So, Angkor Wat they headed off to. Now, I couldn't resist coming to this particular spot because this is where the wall is, and there's a hole in the wall right here. That's where I came in, and I stood here and I looked at these three giants, and I was spellbound. And you know that expression, and like they do in cartoons, they say jaw-dropping. It's a thing. It's honestly true. It's happened to me twice whilst visiting temples, and it's only temples that does it to me. I literally saw these and my jaw just fell open. It is a magical place, this. Now in this video, it's just not these three giants we're visiting. We have another site, and believe me, that one is also an absolute cracker. and it is down the dusty track I have driven, and clambering over these masonry blocks we can look up, and again we see another mighty tower, but this one has something very special in it. But before we go in, there's something outside I wish to show you, and it's this single stone, this single piece of masonry that has been carved to its final form. Now, what is incredible about this is this by no means is the biggest. No, this just happens to be here directly next to where we're going. And it would be foolish of me not to take this opportunity to show you, because if I lay down, which is something I'm very good at, I'm a single man, and when it comes to laying down doing nothing, I am an absolute master. Now then, here we go. I lay down with my hat, which makes me about 6 foot, and look how big this is. It is absolutely huge. It's a monolith in any language, and it's that big it may well make those builders at Stonehenge blush. Although surprising, we haven't come to have a look at this stone, which really does belong in an Arthur C. Clarke science fiction novel. No, we are on the footprints of those ancient Hindu gods, and sometimes we have to dig down to find them. This is an enormous pedestal. It's absolutely huge, but it was only on closer inspection that I found this. And I was amazed. I consulted with a renowned expert, and he said, Mr. B, what that is Hamsa. He is the winged vehicle of Brahma, the creator god. So even here we have reference to those wonderful ancient Hindu gods, and seeing this, well, it quite simply made my day. When I saw that bird carved on that pedestal, and I learned that it was the vehicle of Brahma, I came to a deep realization. You see, I have a relationship with these temples now. I don't just love them. There's something going on which is much, much deeper. And that single carving personified it. Because when I learned that that was the creator God's carriage, and I thought, well, hang on, this, if it is a swan, it can fly through the sky effortlessly. It can traverse the land with no problems whatsoever. It can even go across the waters and leave not even a ripple. I mean, what animal is more perfect to personify creation than that? And it's then I realised why I was falling in love. The Hindu religion is so full of colour and so full of deeper meaning. It just draws you in. And to have gods that are so real, like Indra and all his flaws, but the creator God with his bird as his vehicle, to think of him flying through the skies is just magnificent. And this is why I have fallen so deeply in love. As always, this has been Mr. B, and I ask you to like, subscribe and comment. And do remember that this is sponsored by the Embassy of India, and as such they are listening. So if you want to go on more adventures to seek out such sites as these, then please let us know. Write a comment down below, and I assure you I will see them. So until next time, this is Mr. B wishing you absolutely nothing but the very best. You take good care.